1. All right, here we go. Twitch, say hi to YouTube. Hey, YouTube, say hi to Twitch. We back. You know what it is. Yes. Here we go. You know we putting this on YouTube. So, all right. Here, this tournament is, I just played 2 back-to-back tournaments, right? So I had 18 games, all classical. Played very good, actually, especially with white. I didn't lose a game with the white pieces, in fact. So it's very nice. You'll see those games later on, but this is the first tournament before. I played the U.S. Masters just recently, and then before that, I played, what was the name of the tournament? Edmar Mednis Memorial, something like that, out in Nebraska. Elite Chess was behind it, so I played in that tournament. So this was a norm tournament, and I'm not going to spoil any results or anything, so we're going to go through each game. So this first round, I played black against this Russian FIDE master. Very strong, right? So this one is called Crazy Lines. All right, so let's see it. Here we go, right? So he plays white, a knight f3. I'm playing black. Knight f3, knight f6. Yeah, no spoilers, no spoilers. C4, G6, right? So I'm going King's Indian, because, I'm a KID fan. Shout out to the KID fans in the chat. King's Indian defense, Yeah, ready, right? And when you go knight f3, move 1, you can go knight f6, right? Same thing. So you still can get your King's Indian. No problems, no issues. So he went knight c3 and went bishop g7. And I expected this because, we already knew ahead of time. We had not months. We had like a lot of time to prepare, like a few weeks or whatever, because we know who we play. It's already set and stuff, unless people change at the last moment. But so I knew he was going to play what he was going to play, and I was going to, we just knew, right? So you still are going to play your stuff. So we playing these moves quickly. This is all theory. Bishop e2, e5. And then he goes d5, which is the Petrosian variation. I knew he would play this. So in this Petrosian variation, you have lots of moves, in fact. You have a lot of moves. Like you have knight a6, you have knight d7, you have a5. There's many ways to play it. I like the a5 way of playing with the idea of stopping, your knight wants to get to c5. So when we go knight a6, knight c5, sometimes b4 can happen. And the knight has to move away, and you're already kind of having less space with the center, giving up the center like this, right? So a5 helps cement the knight on c5. You also sometimes can weaken the dark squares with a4 and a3. So a5 is a standard theory. He goes bishop g5. I lost the game. I don't remember when this was. Sometime last year. Maybe it was, no, it had to be like early last year, but early in the year. And it was a tournament that I played, and he played this line, and I was supposed to sack the queen, but I didn't go for the line, and I just forgot about the line, to be honest. So I remembered, I looked at the files here just in case we went down that same line. So bishop g5, he pins the knight. We go h6 to kick the bishop. Still in theory here. Bishop h4, which is still theory. Still theory. Knight a6, and then after knight a6, he went knight to d2, right? So our goal is to put the knight on c5. That line of sacks the queen is that early theory? No, it is. In fact, I'm actually going to show you. Knight a6, knight goes to d2. Right, and bishop d7. Bishop d7 is a nice move. We want to play a4, sometimes queen e8, depending on what they play. Now, if I think it's castles or b3. I think it's b3. In this b3 line, there's a queen sack, but it's something like castles first, knight c5, and here it is, and then b3. And after b3, you can play this move, knight f takes e4. I was ready this time. I promise you. It was going to happen. I was going to do it right here. Now, the first person to play this was Garry Kasparov versus Kramnik, in fact. But now it's been analyzed a lot more and deeper where you actually, Faruja has some games too with this. A few other players too that have played this. So after knight takes e4, the idea is after bishop takes, knight takes c3, queen goes to e1, right? If you don't, you got to worry about this check. So you get some material, and then we take with the a rook, right? And then the idea here is to play e4, f5. We have all the pieces, literally everything but the queen. If you pay attention to that, you have everything but the queen, and there's a lot here. In fact, the engine says that this is just equal. White's up by 0.2, something like that. So it's important to understand this is a very playable position for black and lots of play, and it's fun. King's Indian-esque, right? But you don't have to do that. You can also go with the simple route of c6 or queen e8 and stuff like that. So pretty fire, right? Pretty fire lines. But he didn't go for this. I was ready. I was going to play that. He plays a3, which is more of they want to go b3 and b4 like this in a slower manner. So I go queen e8 because I do want to go a4, and if knight c5, they will go b4, right? So the idea here a lot of times is to go a4 and then go knight c5, because now it's going to be very hard for them to play b4, and I also en passant. So he doesn't want that, so they go b3 to be able to stop my a4. It's just a lot of like back and forth, like no you, no you, no you, buddy, no you, buddy, no you, like, you know, that's how it is. Like, so I'm stopping him, and then he stops me. So this idea is to play b4 at some point, like a rook b1, and play b4 eventually. So after b3, it's black to move. It's black to move, chat, and you know how we do here. Pause the video, obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, but here, you know, we do this live here. So it's black to move. What do you play in this position? What do you play here in this position? And I know this from studying this theory before. I've seen this idea many times. And it's really fun to play, but you have to know what you're doing afterwards. And the reason why this is called Crazy Lines is I'm about to show y'all some crazy stuff. It's black to move. What do you play? So man, 7, whatever. Let's see. Yeah, what's the move here, guys? What is a lay move? What would you do? It's black to move. Where you going? H5, FD trash. Okay. H5 is actually very interesting. It helps with like a bishop h6 idea to open the bishop up, but you got to move the knight. It's gonna be a problem. Knight to b4 from Cream Soup. Knight b4. Okay, understand. Yeah, dog. Yeah, I understand you. Knight b4 is not a move. It's not a move, but that's okay. You know what I mean? Like it's there. You could put it there. You could. Knight c4. Okay. Knight c4. Now I know what you mean. Knight c5. Knight c5. So by now it's all good. So knight c5 is going, I guess, attacking e4 in a way. Not really. This is defended. Knight c5. There might be a b4, which is kind of annoying. So we do here. Knight c5 from Everett will too as well. This is a very cool idea. Here's the move. The move is knight takes e4. So this one is a shot in the dark. He didn't expect this. In fact, he said he thought this was bad in post-game analysis, as we just analyzed for like another hour after this. And we actually became good friends too after this game, because we just talked a lot and like just talked about lines and stuff. We was out there talking. Y'all seen some of that, especially if you was watching the live stream for a little bit. And then we ended it and we just talked for like an hour about this game. But knight takes e4 is an idea. And this is an idea I knew about for a very long time. It's a very cool idea. Knight takes e4. It gives up the piece, but the problem is his bishop. And I also get to open up lines. I've also grabbed a pawn as well. So after knight takes e4, this is theory here. He said he's never seen it before. And I was like, wow, that's cool. I actually have seen this many times in CHESSABLE courses, in fact. And also online in some online games and databases. But in KID life, oh, this was just me playing the line. So after knight takes e4, the idea is f5, right? f5, so now we have g5 and f4 coming, and we're going to open up the bishop line like this. Like everything comes to life very, very fast. Very, very fast. So one of the lines we looked, there were so many lines. Like f3 was a move. Then we looked at bishop d3. We looked at all these different lines. And he goes knight d2, which is correct. I remember this like being, you know, most people just move the knight back. And just like, all right, cool. And this is what happens. So he moves the knight back. He moves the knight back. And then I go e4 first. Like this is a big move because I'm hitting this, hitting all of this. I'm hitting all of this right now. So it's really strong. And I still have g5. Rook c1, right? Best move. Need to get off of the whole diagonal. He defends. Right, look at the x-ray, right? Exactly. He defends here. And now, after here, okay, yeah, this is sick. This is sick. I go g5, bishop g3. And now what is the move here for black, chat? This is the crazy lines, right? Think about this. What is the move for black right now? It's black to move. We sack the piece. We walk the pawns up. What do we play for black right now? And here I did think. I thought for a while. I don't remember how much I thought, but oh, is that your Nebraska match? Yeah, this was first round in Nebraska King Cost. So we explaining kind of what happened and there's some crazy lines because of like what is possible here. Now knight c5 looks good from Churd. Okay. That's on TikTok over there. Bishop takes c3 from Elf Matthews. e3 from Sumo. Okay. Very good ideas here. Very good ideas. g4 over there. I see g4 in 2 chats. We on TikTok and Twitch. f4 to trap the bishop from Snobby Lobster. Queen e5 from Kindle over there on TikTok. That one's going to hurt, my guy. That one's going to hurt a little bit. That one is 100% gonna hurt. That one's gonna hurt. That one's gonna hurt. Bishop c3. Okay. Rook a4. Yeah, I was like, Rook a4 later in that line. Yeah, right. Now watch this. So this is what you're supposed to do. Check this out. So, bro, this is so crazy. The move here is knight to c5. To me, I forgot, and okay. I don't remember. Like, I remember seeing this, but I was like, wait. If he, and the reason why knight c5, but check this out, right? When they go knight c5, I'm down a piece. So he can just play f3 or f4. This is why I didn't play, because I don't remember. I was like, wait a second, knight c5. But when he goes f4, because f3 is going to run into e3. He doesn't want this at all. This is going to be ridiculous. But with f4, f4 is the better move. So f4, and I remembered this, but I didn't remember this. I remember seeing this idea, but I don't remember the moves. And this is why this is called crazy lines. It's black to move here, guys. Look what just happened. I play knight c5, right? So remember, let's just back up. Right, I sack a piece, just to be real and to show you, you know, as a human, you're going to have to find this and you have to see this stuff. I sack a piece. I don't get the piece back yet. I got a pawn, right? I play f5, I play e4, so I'm hitting this knight. He defends the knight. I go g5, and then I can get my piece back right now. But the move here, and I remember this idea, is knight c5. So right now, I go knight c5, not getting my piece back, allowing him to push this pawn so he can tuck his bishop. So he goes f4. Well, this is not the game, but like this is what would happen. After f4, and he was actually like, yeah, I was supposed to play this, but I couldn't remember the file. I remember seeing this idea and couldn't remember the file. So after f4, what are you supposed to do here, guys? The bishop is about to get away. This bishop is about to go to f2, and when this happens, in a way, you basically just kind of down a piece. Now, there are some things that happen. Maybe you get e3 in, but right now, this is a very critical moment, in fact. He was down with you, en passant, and ruining his king side, okay? e3, sure. So e3 right now, knight d3. Knight d3 check. Very good ideas. Very good ideas. Very good ideas, guys. Very good ideas. Now, the problem here with, like, knight d3 check right now is after takes, right? This is check. King goes to f1, and you don't really... I mean, you sacked a piece here. You have to remember this, right? You sacked a piece... And as a human here, you have to, like, now get the rest of the pieces out. And the accuracy here is going to be very, very high. In fact, what do you think the move is for black right now? You only have one move, so that it's, like, almost +1. Think about that, right? Oh, it's almost +1 if you find this move with black right now. And that's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. This is just not practical. I mean, okay, as a human, you have some things, but... This is hard. I see bishop d4. Let me see what the engine says. Bishop says bishop d4 is move number 3 on the engine, plus 1.3. And you're down a piece. You're down a piece. You probably will never even guess move number 2. Like, that's just not even... You're never even thinking that at all. You're never even thinking that. Queen e3. Queen e3 is move number 1. Queen e3. Move number 2, you are not even considering. You would never... It's a4. Bro, you have to be kidding me. Yeah, we're not doing that, right? a4, okay, all right, for sure, a4, right? Queen e3 is the best there. So, but knight e3 is not the move. Knight e3, right? And then you would think e3, right? Well, e3, but that one I can just move the knight, you know, maybe here or something. Not that good for black at all. In fact, see, eval plus 1.1. Okay, let's turn it off. Yeah, plus 1.1. So it's not good. This is not good. So what you're supposed to do here, guys, is en passant, right? Oh, they like, en passant is forced. Bruh. Yeah, nobody said it. No, I think somebody said it. Somebody said it one time. En passant. Remember, right? F4, that's forced. You should automatically, that should be your first thought, is en passant, right? So en passant. Boom. Takes, you know, obviously taking this way is going to be ridiculous, right? But now... Remember, I sacked a piece, and this is why this is so cool, bro. Because after pawn takes, if g takes f3, you have queen e3. But knight takes f3, and this is a real line. I remember calculating here, and I forgot what to do after I reached this position. And I was like, yeah, I don't remember, and I'm supposed to go here and there, but I don't remember. So here you go, guys. You have to keep up the pressure. We sacked a piece. We let him get his piece back because he played f4. But we have to keep the initiative rolling now, or we can get into some trouble, actually. So it's black to move. What do you play? Canty's back. Whatever. Good Frugy. 94 from Chess Lover. 94. Derek plays chess. What up, dog? $94 from Turd over there on TikTok. Man, y'all like this 94 move. Huh? 94. That's nice. That's nice. Knight takes, and then like, you know, you go like here. I mean, with a kid. I mean, conversation with a kid. Like, you know, this is what you have. Like, you got some calm. But what do you actually have? It's gonna take a while here, buddy. Take a while. It's gonna take a while. Queen takes? Okay, we take it to queen. Get out your way and have a nice day. I get out your way and have a nice day. All right. Run it back, big fella. Run it back. In fact, the move here, and this is why this is so hard, bro. The move here, believe it or not, guys, is queen to e3. What the heck is this? What is this even? That's why this line, and I remember this. Let me actually tell you, you know, you gotta be studying, right? I remembered all of that from when I got here. I was like, wait, I know it's this line that when I took this knight, when I took this pawn, right, and we reached this position, I remembered this, something like this. I just don't remember the move order. After f4, there's en passant, and then knight takes f3. We go queen e3. What a cold-blooded move, bro. Allowing bishop f2. It's hitting this right now. So I'm getting my piece back with interest, and it's stopping the castle. So the idea here is, if there's a move like queen to c2, which I was like, what do I do on queen c2? Bro, this is crazy. Like, these are crazy lines. What are you supposed to play here? I actually thought it was something else, but I just turned on the engine, and it was not. I was not going to find it. Like, I thought, man, I could have swore it was this, but it's definitely not that. So, well, what you got here, guys? What you got here, chat? What you about to play? What you gonna play? Knight e3, rook 8 to e8. Caddy Q, thanks for the hydrate there. Where is my water? Oh, it's over there. Oh, I got this one. Perfect. Adnan, thanks for the follow. a4, a rook e8. 94. Yeah, I was actually rook a8 was one move I was gonna play. The problem with knight d3, guys, is, I mean, okay, it's not that bad. Like, takes, and he goes knight d1, and this actually is a variation. I have seen this before. That's a variation for sure. But what they want is knight takes b3. I was like, what? Man, this is crazy. You actually get more material this way. You snap a pawn, hitting the rook. If queen takes, then you take, and then you just clean up shop here. If knight d1 now, we bring the rook in. I mean, this is just ridiculous, my guy. Shadio D'Amelio says that was what he said over there on TikTok. He said, that's what I said, right? That's what I said. He said it. Okay, look at that, right? Queen e3, that's nasty. So queen c2 doesn't work because of knight b3, right? We're trying to rule out all the moves. Like, we just played queen e3. You got to think about it from White's point of view, right? What does he actually play? We're attacking this knight right now. So you need to defend it or move it, right? If knight to b1, then you actually bring the rook all the way over here to e8. What happens on bishop f2? Knight d3 check. Bro, come on. Like, are you kidding me? No. Are you kidding me? Look at this position. Queen takes, and then queen takes c1. You actually can, sorry, you can even just take the queen. I forgot about that. I'm not even gonna lie. But it's just such a sick combination. I was kind of mad at the fact that I didn't find, like, I just couldn't remember why it was good. So I should have just went for it. And maybe tried to figure it out. But I could have reached this position where, it's really hard to make a move. And then if you look at their obvious moves too as well, we looked at like knight b1, rook c2. This is also hanging. You have to remember this is hanging all the time. So if bishop f2 happens, then we go knight d3. And then you actually, now, and the reason why I remembered this is because, like, if you do a piece count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We did steal a pawn. We got some pressure. a4 may be coming next. right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's like, you know, a rook with a bishop and a knight. You know what I mean? Like the exchange thing. They got a bishop and a knight. We got the rook. But we also have the pawn here. And we just stole the pawn. Like we can do some stuff. And it's sort of equal. It's sort of equal. Sort of equal. After all of that. That's like... Bruh. Yes, I mean, it's equal after that. Like, that's what the engine says, right? So, I didn't go for this. I played after G5. I went my own route. Because I couldn't remember. I couldn't obviously remember that deep. It was that far. It was like, you know, I just don't remember. So, I'm just going to play something else. And I played F4. So, I was like, I mean, I'll get my piece back. See what happens. He took on E4 because it's a pawn sacrifice. And then here, I'm actually supposed to play bishop F5 first, which I didn't do. I just took the piece back first. I was like, yeah, I'll just take the piece. And just like question mark, right? And then knight takes G3. And then I go knight C5. Right. I go knight C5. So now I want to go A4 and knight B3 and around to D4. Stuff like that. He was annoyed by this. He said in post-game analysis. I also have the bishops too. Like I have some good play. You know, I can have like rook F4 to D4. Yes, he has a pawn, but my bishops are very strong, and I have A4. And this whole idea of the dark squares, like, yeah, whatever. I don't even feel the pawn, right? So, you know, after this, he actually went B4. Because he didn't like the fact that A4 was coming. Like if he castles, which is supposed to be a better move. You know, I was going to go A4, and then you have to allow this knight into B3. Then after rook C2, and the reason why the rook has to go to C2, I mean, look at the rook. Like, if he goes to B1, we take on C3. Like, you have to stay around this, or you lose an exchange. So this is my idea. And if the rook C2, the rook's just annoyed here, and I was going to play, I don't know, a development move, like Queen E5 or something. I don't know what I was going to play next, but I was just not going to move anything, because this rook is, like, tied down. Bishop F5 at some point, you know, obviously when the knight moves. So I just feel good about this position. So he played B4 because he didn't want that to happen, like at all. So we open the file. He takes back. And now, what do you play here, guys? Black to move. Yeah, actually, Mike Saylor, that's a great question. He said after castle, A4, bishop H5. Yeah, castles, in fact, quick question. Castles, A4, well, here, I actually saw this, and then bishop H5 first, something like this. And I was just going to move the queen up somewhere, E5 or E7, which is fine. Queen E5, the dark squares are weak. You know, rook goes to C2, I can go queen D4. I remember this. I remember feeling this. I can't say because you already know, says Chess Lover. Yeah, Chess Lover already knows. He's seen the game live. But B4, so after this B4 move, right, takes, it's black to move. Where do you go? Your knight is hanging. So what do you do? So this is the rook line, right? It's king calls. What's black to move, bro? You tell me. What's the move there, buddy? The move, rook sack. Okay, sack the rook. How you sacking the rook here, buddy? How you sacking it? Rook A1. Okay, I like how you thinking there, chat. Rook A1. That's crazy. That's crazy. Bishop A4. Okay, bishop A4 is one. All right, chat. Look, I got to give it up to y'all. Rook A1 is a nasty move, guys. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Bat yourself on the back. That is not the move. But that is a sick move, bro. That is a very nice move. Rook A1 is pretty nasty. Pretty nasty. But it is not... It's not like... It doesn't... It's equal. Like, it doesn't really do anything. He can actually just, like, castle. And imagine that somebody... You hit him with that and they just do something like that. You like... You can do that? Like, yes, he actually can do that. In fact, so there's nothing... Like, I don't have to touch it. It looks great. But it's nothing there. There's nothing there. What is more forcing, or better in a way, is the move that I play, which is rook to A3. I don't have to move this knight at all. I'm threatening bishop takes C3 next. Right? And if he castles, well, I wanted to get this square as well. Right? So he castles, and then I go knight B3. This is a really strong move. So now, I am now hitting in a way... Well, the exchange, like if he goes rook to B1, I can actually take on C3, which was really nice. If rook B3, bishop A4. This was my idea here. So crazy lines, right? So he's going to have some problems there. If rook to c2, I have this move knight to a1, bro.
Bruh.
I was going to twist. If this line happened, I promise you I was going to, like, you know, if you ever put a knight in the corner, it's like good etiquette to twist it clockwise once and then hit the clock. Knight a1, clockwise, hit the clock. You know what I mean? Great etiquette. Really make sure the knight is laughing at the queen. No, it's a really cool move, bro, because like knight a1 hits the rook, and I'm also opening up this whole line. This is a sick move. Very nice. So then I saw this move, rook a2, which is ridiculous. Like, how is this even a move right now? How is this even a move? With the idea of if bishop takes, rook takes a3, and then like he's fine. If I take, he gets out of there. So I was like, what about rook takes, right? Because if queen takes, well, then I have rook takes g3 completely winning. Whew, heat. But he can just take with the rook. And then it's like, what the, bro? I'm doing everything I can. Like, I'm doing everything. I'm doing everything. And I saw all of this. But he played something else. He played, what did he play? What did he play in game? Let me go back. Oh, wow. Okay, nice. Can I go back one or? All right, that's fine. Let me do it like this. Do it like this. There we go. There we go. Should be good, guys. Okay. This is all theory, all theory. You got here. Okay, knight b3. Yeah, he went knight b1. This one is not. Yeah, this one was this was on the radar, but I didn't think he could play it. This was a good move. What do you play in this position? What do you play? You found it pretty easy, if I remember correctly. Yeah, definitely did. What do you play here? It's black. Knight b1 happens, right? I saw this, but I was like, what do I do? Right. And I knew that this would happen, like, but it was tough, bro. It was definitely tough. And these lines were very crazy getting up to this point. You said rook a1 looks stupid. Okay, stupid. That's funny. Rook a2. Bishop coming in like sniper on b2. Yeah. The problem here, guys, is like after rook a2, you know, I can go bishop h5. This is something that you do have to watch out for, as Mike pointed out earlier. And then he's going to take on b3. You know what I mean? So that's going to be nasty. The phonics I see over there. Yep, I'm reading both chats, Twitch and TikTok. Both of y'all. I'm reading them. I'm reading all the messages. Streaming on Twitch and TikTok. So, I think a lot of moves here are good. Yeah. Yeah. Knight takes c1. Yeah. Knight takes c1. Okay, so knight to b1. If you move rook a1, you lose the knight too as well. I can just take. So the problem here is my move is forced, right? If I move the rook, he just takes the knight. So I have to take his rook, right? I take his, and then he takes mine. And then I have to take, this is another forced move, right? There's nothing to do. Take with check. He takes with the queen. And then we go into this endgame. So I'm feeling like Magnus. I got the bishops, and I'm like, this is a dub. Like, this is Devereski page 351. Like, I was hyped. I was so hyped. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. This is definitely in the back of Devereski somewhere. I got 2 bishops. Yes, I'm down a pawn, but I'm about to get that back somehow. I have to, right? I mean, this feels good. Yeah, I'm down a pawn, but I just got the open file. I got the open bishops. The pawns are weak. The knights are discoordinated. This has got to be a dub. This has got to be a dub. So after knight b5, I spent a lot of time here because there's a lot of calculations. Like, do you take the knight? He's also hitting c7. What if I go rook a4? I also have rook a2 first as a in-between move. What about this move, bishop f5, which is really cool because, like, you know, let's just make a move here. For instance, I mean, I'm going here, to be honest, like knight takes, rook here, knight here, and you easily could run into something like this. But he could take too. I have to calculate all of this. And the rook is here. Like, what is going on? There's a lot of things, right? I could also do, obviously, bishop takes b5, but then I give up the bishop pair. How do I do with the rook on the a file? Do I put it here, or do I go this way, gain the tempo, then go behind the b pawn? Got to worry about the c file as well. Counterplay. Things to worry about. Things to calculate. What about, you know, after knight b5, do I go rook here first, then behind the pawn? Or rook here takes this? There's so many things to think about here. What about c6? Try to trap the knight. Doesn't work. Knight takes d6. He may takes. There's c5 as well. There is so many things to think about here. So I spent a lot of time. Freybach, thanks for the prime. Black says, or the engine says, that it's only like equalish. Obviously, it's an endgame, right? But I'm like, I feel like I have initiative. At the end of the day, I ended up taking the knight. I was like, I'm just going to take the knight, bro. Just take the knight. Simplify a little bit. Takes, and then I go rook a2. So I'm like, all right, hit the knight. You know what I mean? Bishop looks strong, but the knights have a lot of good outposts. And that's right, Mike. It was just crazy. Like, rook here, I hit the knight. So after I hit the knight, he goes knight g3. Very strong. Very strong. Here I spent a lot of time because there are things that, like, he's trying to go here himself. How do I win these? Like, if there's, in a perfect world, if I could win both and push, I'm good. But I can't. Also, there's no back rank tricks. There's no back rank tricks. Because knight f1. I was like, oh, man. Like, great. What a move. If I go, like, bishop here, I mean, he goes knight f5. I also thought about this idea like this. And anchor the bishop. Let him have the pawn. I calculated this, and I was like, maybe king g7 or h7. You know, and then here, the knight f5, right? I calculated this. King f6, he brings the knight to e3. Then I was like, how do I do this now? But then rook b2, then I saw knight c4, and then takes, and we reached this position. We're like, how am I going to win this? Bruh. How am I going to win this? And I'm calculating this, and I'm like in the zone, you know, COE-ing, for real, calculating over everything. And it's just like, this is ridiculous. He has this. How is this even possible? I thought about all of this, right? So I just end up going rook d2. With the idea of I'm trying to pick this up, and, like, you know, try to do something. I was hoping for like a rook c1, because then I have bishop d4. In some cases, I could play, you know, take this and, like, bring the bishop back. Whatever. But he goes with the tricky move, which is knight f5. I'm like, oh, man. Because if you take this pawn, you might as well sign the score sheet right after, because you get forked on e7. Come on, big fella. You got to be looking at this. Knight e7. Don't do that. Don't do that. All these people watching, don't do that. So knight f5, and I thought for a while, and I played bishop d4 anyway. This is a cool move, right? I was thinking about king f7 here for a long time, but I didn't like that he just goes, and he may even be better after rook c1. May be better. Really strong, because this is coming with check right now. This is coming with check. And then if I go like king f6, well, he takes the bishop, or he can go like a g4. Solving the back rank problem, hitting this pawn, like, you know, this is like, whoa, what is I'm in trouble in some cases. I read years ago that two knights have a better chance against two bishops than having a bishop and against the bishop pair. Yeah, I mean, everyone says something about it. Two bishops or two knights, like, it's always something. It's like, who knows, right? It's funny, right? Thanks for the follow there as well. So, oh, no, yeah, I didn't go king f7. I went bishop d4. I went with the tricky move bishop d4. And I was trying to bait him into this, but it's still a draw anyway. But I was definitely looking at if knight takes h6, right, I was going to move the king up to h7. King g7 is the same, but I was just going to go h7. Yes, knight f5 and knight g4, right? Now, knight f5 I thought was probably a slight error because I just bring the bishop back to b6. And, okay, probably draw, but I feel better. If I get these three pawns, and then I'm running, and this bishop is an absolute monster. So this is what I was hoping for in a scenario like this. This is what I was hoping for, this type of endgame. And I was like, okay, what about knight g4? With the idea of, well, okay, it could have been the same thing too. He wants to get this knight to e3, right? But I'm just going to bring the bishop back to b6. I saw that he could go knight e3. After knight e3, I go like a rook b2. I was thinking maybe capture it. In fact, this is another line I looked at. Like, I had to calculate, if he goes here, What about king g7? And then this idea of king f6, knight e3. And then I was like, what if I just take it? Bishop takes, king e5. I looked at all of this. I calculated all of this. Rook c1, rook takes d5. He takes here, I take here. I thought that this is a scenario that we could reach. Rook takes, he goes like rook here. I go king e4, f5. I was trying to go here. King f2. And then I thought to myself, can I run over here, take this, and try to push this pawn? And I'm like, bro, this is ridiculous.
Bruh.
Why I got to calculate this much? But it also definitely helps to calculate this much. So I was trying to do this. I was like, all right, well, I don't know if that works. Well, you know, so luckily he didn't take on h6. It was equal with zeros, but I went bishop d4, and he just played it very smart. He just took on d4. He's like, all right, whatever. He got rid of the bishop, takes, and then he went rook c1. And Russian in game. Very, very strong stuff. I take one pawn because taking on b4, he can just get out the way. Like, it doesn't matter. He can play almost any move. And this is the problem, is I can't save this pawn. Like, this stupid configuration of pawns right here annoyed me so much. I can't win. I can't win. If one of these pawns are gone, I probably could have something. But I don't. I don't have anything. I don't have anything. This pawn configuration is not going to work. Before, are you talking about? No, he's talking about knight f5. But then that's the one we looked at with king f6. Then if knight takes, rook takes, or if knight e3, bishop takes, bring the king up, and you know that whole line we calculated, right? So rook c1. Rook c1 happens. Rook c1. Right. I take on d5. He goes f3. Obviously, no back rank mates. I take on b5. He takes on c7. I take on b4. He goes king f2. And here I just... oh, it hurts. I know it's a draw. Like, I know it's a draw. Like, it's just a draw. His rook is very active. If my king was anywhere else, I'm playing for a win until we had 150 moves, and then I'm going to push a pawn. Like, we're going to figure it out. But because of the inactivity of my king and the rook being active, this is Endgame 101. Right? Endgame 101. It's very good. Very, very good, right? Endgame 101. So that's how it happens. King f2. After king f2, there's rook b2. Check. King g3. b5. Rook to d7. Rook d2. Rook b7. Rook d5, right? This was just a draw. And I offered a draw there because there's no progress that I can make. There's just no progress that I can make. I'm not happy with it at all. So, but it's all good. So this was a draw. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll see you guys on the next one.